Hi everyone, I just wanted to give a little about me, the voice behind these readings. My name is Jaddee. I have been doing and into oracle cards, tarot cards, and readings for about 6 years now. I went through a major spiritual awakening, and one year for my birthday, a friend gave me a deck of cards. They were the Judy Hall's Crystal Wisdom Healing Oracle cards, and I was absolutely fascinated and drawn in. And at the same time, I was really getting into crystals, and whenever I would go to say to somebody, "Oh, I'm getting into oracle cards and I'm offering readings now," I would go to say this, but instead the word Reiki would almost come out of my mouth instead of oracle cards. And this happened so many times, I would have to stop myself. I'm like, what is going on here? So I was like, I think I need to go and take my Reiki training. So I took Reiki 1 and 2, and I feel like taking those trainings helped me to become much more aware of myself and others, and to open up and help the Kundalini energy flow throughout my whole body even more. It was like the next steps in my spiritual enlightenment. I didn't feel like I needed to go on to become a Reiki master. I was like, I feel like the trainings that I've taken are exactly what I needed to do. My Reiki sessions have been very helpful to people, and I feel like that's helpful. I no longer do them because being an intuitive and an empath and a Pisces through and through and through, I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I really had to learn how to set boundaries around energy and my intuition, and being extremely aware, being so aware of all the time. I feel like my antenna is like always up there, picking up on things that I'm like, I really don't want to know this. Like, I have really shut down the boundaries really strongly, but even with that, I still just know things. I just know things because that's who I am. I am I have 3 of the clairs. I'm the clair. I think I get them a little confused, but I can see through my third eye. I can see pictures. I can hear things and guidance of my spirit guides. I know things that I just know, and I've just have like grown them over the years. The more I've worked on myself, the more I've healed myself, the more I've grown as a person and let go of things and worked through things, and gotten rid of the karma and the old past lives and old lives and all that stuff. It just opens you and up even more and more and more, and learning how to work with it and learning how to sort of like grow within the size, a different size of your energy body is always a shift and changed, and learning it differently, because on one side you're a spiritual being and this stuff just flows through so easily, and the other side is the human being is being like stretched in a spiritual way that it's never been before in this life. And so it's very, very, I find it amusing, and sometimes hugely annoying. I get so annoyed sometimes with the human side, and then other times I just laugh because there's nothing else to do but to laugh about it. So what I'll continue to share with you is that, so I've been into the cards and the crystals and the star seed. I'm definitely star seed. I had one person say to me, I can tell by looking at your face that you're not from around here. I was like, great. um, and I've been into personal development and law of attraction and the secret teachings. Um, I'm also trained and have experienced almost 23 years now of massage therapy. I'm also an esthetician, which is skincare, colon hydrotherapy, which is a high-level professional enema that really helps with gut health. You can look into that more on your own if you want to. I'm also trained in craniosacral fascial therapy, which is about helping people relieve that deep tension and in emotional trauma deep inside, as well as lymphatic drainage massage and lymphedema. And so I've worked with people a lot in the physical healing realm, and doing it more in the energetic realm through these videos is it's a shift, but it's a continuation of this at the same time of stuff I've already known and done. And it's just like this flow. It just like flows from one thing into another thing and sort of like gathers up like a snowball and becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And it shows more of the pieces of the puzzles and the whole picture. And it's just this continuation of understanding who I am and all the gifts that I have. And I also absolutely love teaching. And that's why in a lot of my readings, you'll find me incorporating like herbs and Reiki stones and about the crystals and all the stuff that I have just learned myself. And the moment I learn something, I was like, oh, I want to share this with other people. But they're not necessarily always open to it. So I have learned to just like let people be. They know who I am. If they want more information, they will ask. And sometimes the best example you can be is just to be yourself. I am quite a positive person, and I was watching a reading the other day. I forget who it was by, but they said something about you heal people with your positivity. I'm like, that is so true. I've actually had someone who I thought was a friend stopped being a friend with me because they're like, you're just too positive. I'm like, well then, obviously we are not friends because this is who I am and that's who you are, and we do not mesh well. And I'm definitely a starseed where I don't really, in some ways, don't get attached to the human part at all. I remember as a child, the neighbor girl saying to me, because they went away for a couple weeks, they're like, oh, I missed you so much. I remember thinking, well, I didn't miss you. I know that's throughout my whole life. I tend not to miss people. I'm just like, okay, I'll either see you again or I won't. And I have been, looking back at my life, I realize I've been intuitive this whole time frame. And when I was a child, I didn't really like speak the normal way of speaking. Like to me, it wasn't necessary to speak to people. Like I understood what was going on, so I didn't feel like I needed to say anything. Not only that, but who I was being raised by, my voice was majorly shut down and wasn't welcomed anyways, but at the same time, according to society, they need to show up and look a certain way. So I was sent to a language development school to learn how to talk to people, and I was always in the special classes starting in elementary school and up. And the teachers would always say to my parents, well, she's learning how to play the piano, learning how to read, but we don't know how because she's not doing it the normal way. And when I was about 3 years old, I was coming back from the special school, and it was a substitute bus driver who was bringing me home, and they got lost. And I remember going up to them at the front of the bus, and I told them at 3 years old how to take me home. And there was just things after things after things looking back at it over my time life, and I just realized, oh, I knew something, I understood something, I saw in my third eye, I understood what was happening, and I had people I was around growing up who did not understand me at all. They kept telling me all the time, there's something wrong with you, there's something wrong with you, there's something wrong with you. So therefore, when people say that to you, you know that there's something right with you, right? Before I get through all these products here, I'm going to share a little bit with you about how I was raised, and it might be some of a trigger warning to some people. But I was raised in a very religious, strict cult, and by a narcissistic parent. So there was definitely emotional abuse and extreme control. In this religious cult, they were non-denominational. They don't really have a name, so I can't even tell you what the name of it is. It wouldn't make any sense to you. You can't necessarily look it up. Oh, I just saw 11:11. But in this strict religious cult, we had to wear long hair, long skirts, no jewelry, no makeup, no earrings, no piercings, no swearing, no drinking, no sex outside of marriage, no listening to any music other than Christian music, and even then they really only wanted you to listen to a cappella hymns, no TV, be really careful of the world, don't engage or become friendly with them or be friends with them. You only can marry people in the same type of gatherings, and in the church meetings, only the men could speak or sing or lead. There was no pastor. But the women had to have their heads covered with hats or scarves during these meetings. And it was all about accepting Jesus Christ as your Savior. It was hellfire and brimstone. You're going to hell, you're going to hell, you're going to hell. There's something wrong with you, the way you were born. They actually delighted in people's soul and spiritual torment. I remember running out of the gospel meeting every Sunday night into the bathroom to throw up because I was so upset. And they were actually excited. They're like, yes, she's having spiritual turmoil, torment of her soul. That means that soon she accepts Jesus Christ as her Savior. And the only reason why you're on this earth is to accept Jesus Christ as your Savior and then die and go to heaven whenever you naturally die and go there. And I was being hugely controlled. I tried multiple times to get my own way out. I moved out at one point, then I moved back in, and then I kept trying to create my own career path, which would have given me more freedom, which looking back at it now, I didn't realize that's what I was doing, but that's what I was doing. It was not my idea to get into massage therapy, but the narcissistic parent kept at me. Learn how to do massage so you can help me. Learn how to do massage so you can help me. Learn how to do massage so you can help me. It was all about them, and they absolutely did not respect my no at all. They did not respect boundaries at all. I was only there to serve them and to help them. And so if you've gone through a healing journey, you know that sometimes things happen by a horrible person, but actually they were being used to redirect you and even to a better path, because massage therapy itself has served me over and over again throughout the years. I've tried multiple times to retire from it. It always pulls me back in. It's always been a support. It's always been helpful. I at one point was even living out of my car because I had no money. I had no place to live. I was tired of asking people for money, and I didn't want to do massage anymore, so I was trying to make other businesses go. And eventually I just turned back to massage, and then I was able to like get out of that financial situation I was in. And so having been at the point where I had no home, I know what it's like to reach out and touch rock bottom. And so I'm going to move on to this book here that I have here, Anxiety's No Fun. So I reached a point in my life where I found myself having this extreme panic attack, and it was because my voice had been shut down. It had been so majorly shut down by the religion I was in and by the narcissistic control. And it was like this, my spirit guides in some ways like conspired with the narcissistic person to bring me to such a point that it broke me open. And it broke me open, and I was in like PTSD after that panic attack, afraid that I'd be in anxiety again. And I was such a crippling anxiety, I didn't want to leave the house. However, at one point, I found myself going down this dark hole, and I said, enough, no more. I drew a line in the sand. I was like, we're not going any further. I was like, I'm only going to get better. I was like, in a year and a half from now, I'm going to look back and see so much progress in my life of being more of calm mind and being able to function. And I had absolutely no help, no support. The narcissistic person would appear to be somewhat concerned, but only because they were getting huge amounts of glee out of the fact that I was having issues. Like, they fed off of my own trauma, even though they caused the trauma. But that's how they are. And so I took 12 years to work through a lot of things. I would say from the time I had of the panic attack to feeling relatively calm was like a 5-year process. And I did everything I could. I started into learning about the law of attraction and watching The Secret and understanding that the mind, that we have control of the mind. We can control our own mind and heal our own mind. So I started to learn about that. I started learning about adrenal fatigue. And I just started to learn about all these different things to help myself. And in this book, I go over the 66 different modalities, realizations, light bulb moments, understandings, forgiveness, all the stuff that I use to help myself. I talk a little bit about my life story in here, my cracking open. I give a lot of like little stories of how things helped me. And because I love teaching things and helping people, I started to do like a class of people coming in. Then I realized a lot of people with anxiety don't want to go to a class. They don't want to leave their house. And I was like, I can probably reach much more people with a book. So I wrote this book, which was definitely, if you're going to write a book, you have to be extremely determined to write it, because it's literally, you have to keep your nose to the grindstone. You have to keep yourself in it in order to complete the task. So I wrote this book about overcoming that and setting myself free. And the very interesting thing is, I talked about I had no voice with the religion and the narcissistic control. For about 15 years of my life, every winter I would get like this cough. And it would get better over time, but it was still somewhat there. The moment I left that religion, I moved out of my parents' house and got myself out of there, that cough went immediately away. I've never had it since. It was completely all about the restriction of expression of self, my voice, and writing this book helped to really express myself as well. But yes, I left that religion because somebody walked into my life who showed me a different perspective. Not because they ever said anything to me about the religion or narcissistic control. They were just themselves. By them just being themselves, it showed me a different way. I was shown more unconditional support and somebody believing in me, and than I'd ever experience underneath this quote-unquote so-called Christian faith. Like, there was absolutely no judgment. It was all about encouragement and being your best self and being 100% seen. And that's within probably a year and a half of meeting this person and them showing me a different way. I just reached sort of like a done point. I was just done. D-O-N-E. Done. I was like, no more. I am out of here. And I both left the church and moved out of that control within 2 months time frame. And I've never looked back. Some people I know, they go through this and they feel pulled back, or they remember Bible verses, that stuff. I'm just like, no, I'm done. When I'm done with something, I'm done. And no, thank you. So amongst doing the card readings that I do, I talked about massage therapy that I do. I also do gluten-free baking. I absolutely love food. Food is my love language. I love making it. I love giving to other people. I love seeing them happy and fulfilled and know that gluten-free eating can be yummy and delicious. So I also have a gluten-free cooking channel that I will put that underneath my description of this video as well, so you can check that out if you want to. I did have a gluten-free bakery and a juice bar at one point. I was like, let's marry the two ends of healthy eating together. The baking, gluten-free baking part of it, and the juices and the smoothies. And then I absolutely loved doing that. That was so much fun. But then it came to a point where it was time to close it and let it go. And so I also, at one point, after I had been in personal development and The Secret and all that stuff for a handful of years, and then it started to feel like a religion to me. Like, I found myself asking myself, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get the results other people are doing? Blah, blah, blah. And then I stopped and listened to my thoughts again. What's wrong with me? I'm like, oh, no. Oh, no. This is a religious question. What's wrong with me? I was like, these teachings have become a religion to me, and that is not good. So I immediately stepped away. I took away from it what I was found most useful and continue to use those tools today. But the rest I let lay away. And I was like, no longer will I let any expert, guru, well-meaning person, mentor, or anybody ever overrule my intuition again. And then I just completely dove into my intuition. And I understood that my inner compass, my own guidance is perfect. And I wanted to help people understand that they're always looking for signs. But when their own sign is in with themselves, their own inner guidance and their intuition. So I wanted to create these intuitive guidance oracle cards. And then intuitive answers. I have part 1 and part 2 here that are very specific. Like, they give you very specific, like the letter P. Somebody's name starts with the letter P. Or lover. Or Aries. Like, your intuition literally gives you exact letters, numbers, answers, but you need to listen to it. So I wanted to encourage people to listen to their own intuition, and with these cards helping them to recognize their own intuition and to help guide and confirm things for them. So I started creating them and came up with 140 cards. Then I realized that most oracle card decks are only 70-some cards. So I was like, okay, let's do a part 1 and a part 2. And then I was like, let's share all the intuitive guidance things that have helped me over the years. And so these ones over here, I use all music and flowers for them. I just felt like they were supposed to be a combination of music and flowers for the energy. The intuitive guidance is third eye and sacral chakra. And I wanted all like circles in throughout all of them. So there's a circle. See, you got this. We all need that reminder, don't we? And somebody didn't shuffle these well. That would be me. Red lights or slow drivers are to either save you from something up ahead or to line you up with better timing. It's all perfect timing. Trust only your own inner guidance right now. And how everyone loves is different, so therefore your love story will be your own, nobody else's. That's all this amazing information and helpfulness. Indecision. If you can't decide right now, then it's definitely not a sure yes. You'll know when it's truly time because you'll immediately take action. And then I was like, okay, as a human being, and coming from a religion where anything sexual is such a sin, that I was like, as a human being, we are very primal. As a spiritual being, we're very spiritual. But that Kundalini energy that is flowing through our body, which is life source energy, is also like sexual energy too. And you cannot get away from it, no matter how society condones it or suppresses it, or religion or whatever. I was like, sexiness is part of who we are, and just we need to stop fighting it. So I did one called Sexy Intuitive. It's like, you are a masterpiece and are adored. I wanted black, white, and pink. Everyone has their own love story, kinks, what works best for them. None are the same. No need to explain or apologize to others. Juicy as fuck. So these are available on my Etsy shop. And for a good 13 years of my massage career, was working at a natural health center underneath a naturopathic doctor and an herbalist. So I learned a lot about natural health here. So some of the products I've recommended to my massage clients over and over again throughout the years, and are also on my Etsy shop, which all these links are in my profile. Excuse me. So one of those things is castor oil. Castor oil is hugely anti-inflammatory. You put it on any areas that need help. It does a lot of stuff for the body, can help heal things. You can also use it in a lot of different ways. But most castor oil bottles get really, really messy. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to put it in a dispenser bottle so that your hands are less messy, and it has essential oils already in it. So you're not trying to pour it in your hand and put essential oils in there and everything becomes really messy. This is a much super cleaner way. So I did that way. And then Deep Relief Roll-On is a result of me falling on my ass so hard I couldn't sit for 2 months. And then I immediately went inside and was like, okay, I need something super, super strong. And I knew that white willow bark and wintergreen essential oils are nature's natural aspirin. And so I put them on the area that I've fallen on, and I never had any pain in that area. My feet were killing me just because I knocked my center of gravity off balance. But I eventually was like, I need to put this in a bottle for my clients. And then I make herbal tinctures from the herbal experience I've learned from the naturopathic doctor. Some of these are on my Etsy. I have to be careful with Etsy because they have medical guidelines. And then this one is Blue Tranquility Silk. This is using butterfly pea powder to churn the Epsom salts blue, so your water is blue. So it's sort of like more of a tranquil, a magical type of experience. If you ever got into Epsom salts for your own energetic being, it's not only it's good for your muscles because of the high magnesium content, but it also helps to clear your aura. So if you've ever been around a whole bunch of people going and taking Epsom salt soak, it's hugely shifting for your body. And this is a better way of having a colorful time with in the water than to use any artificial dyes. And all these are available on my Etsy. You can also get the book on Amazon as well. I also paint, and I have paintings. I also have rice bags that I make. These are not listed on Etsy yet, but I started making them. And then I also wrote some books from my aesthetics experience, glowing skin health, and 8 best ways to boost your lymphatic system. I also have one on enemas and colonics. These are digital downloads on my Etsy shop as well. And so this is what there is about me. I'm sharing. I do not share my face on here because this is one of the energy boundaries that I've had to learn to have. It's just what works best for me. Not only that, but I myself, when I'm watching a reading, I like seeing the cards because there's something about the cards that speaks hugely to me. It's just who I am. And so to me, people being able to see the cards and they can hear my voice, that's all that matters. That's all that a reading is. And you can pick up on my energy through my voice and the energy of the cards. And so with this particular channel, 3 different ways you can support me is I do offer personal card readings. They are done in a membership type of offering where you sign up for a month and you get 2 readings. That is for $55. You get 2 readings for $55. And if you continue the membership, you obviously get more every month, but that is up to you. You can also do the all access membership where you get all the readings, all the extendeds, all the extra videos. You can also do a version of the membership where you get all the readings, but you also get all the digital down guides, like the lymphatic one and the skin one, and there's also ones on there about crystals because I've taught a crystal masterclass and I have all that information on there. I talk about your intuition and how to recognize and how to work with it and what it is and how to grow it. And then there is the top tier one where you get all the personalized readings along with all the other information as well. So these are all a membership. As you know how memberships work, you get them for a month. If you want to keep going, great. If you got all you needed, then you did.